The problem with previous ethical theories and with studies in moral development by Piaget or justice reasoning by Kohlberg is that they all came from and focus on a male or masculine perspective. And that's something that really leapt out to me when I realized this was the first female voice or feminine voice we had in the ethical discussion, at least in my ethical studies in graduate school. And it's interesting, probably because I'm a male, I never noticed that before. And I think Carol brought in some really interesting points that how would it change the discussion? How would it change your view of ethics or morality if you added a feminine voice, a different perspective into the conversation? And not that she's putting down the work of Kant or Plato or Aquinas or any of these other people, but she's just saying, how would it look if we added some of these more feminine virtues or these care-type qualities into the discussion on ethics? Yes. It's okay. I just got one more to do, so see if you can get some text in there. Okay.
This can't take them all off.
You sure?
I'm not even doing it.
Okay. But I think they're pretty.
I could try.
Maybe you could put a little bouquet in my hand while I'm talking. I would love that. Maybe from
How
someone.
about butter?
Butter?
No, how about this is butter?
Oh yeah, a little butter under my nose.
No, this is better to do.
Oh, better to do. Okay. Thanks, Frank. Okay, so in summary, what Carol's really getting to, it becomes clear why attention to women's moral thinking led to the identification of a different voice and raised questions about the place of justice and care within a comprehensive moral theory. It is also clear how the selection of an all-male sample for research on moral judgment fosters an equation of morality with justice, providing little data discrepant with this view. In the present study, data discrepant with this justice-focused moral theory comes from a third of the women. Previously, such women were seen as having a problem understanding morality. Yet these women may also be seen as exposing the problem in a justice-focused moral theory. This may explain the decision of researchers to exclude girls and women at the initial stage of moral judgment research. If one begins with the premise that all morality consists in respect for rules, or virtue is one and its name is justice, then women are likely to appear problematic within moral theory. If one begins with women's moral judgments, the problem becomes how to construct a theory that encompasses care as a focus of moral attention rather than as a subsidiary moral concern. And I don't know, I think that's an excellent conclusion that Carol's making. It's if you're only using a male base or a masculine base to do your research, and then you hold women or the feminine people who are more feminine up to that standard, and they don't seem to measure up, you can say, oh look, women or the feminine type people, whether it's male or female, are less moral, they're less morally developed than men or people with these masculine type virtues like justice, honor, courage, equity. And Carol's saying, well, there's nothing wrong with those virtues, but what about mercy, compassion, relationship, forgiveness, understanding, nurturing? How about adding those into the equation? And you would get the same result. If you had a feminine or care-based ethical theory and you held up most men to that standard, very few would probably seem to be very ethically or morally adept. They would seem dysfunctional in their moral reasoning because they would be stuck in this justice-based mentality. And Carol is saying, if ethics and morality, at least I believe what Carol is saying, is if ethics and morality are supposed to apply to the entire species, being made up of men and women, masculine and feminine, and I could just imagine where this goes if we added in other type of genders. At least last time I checked in California, we have 9 different genders, and so this could just explode this whole dialogue if you wanted to talk about transgender or non-gender or transsexual or hermaphrodite. I mean, it could really expand this conversation of what does that mean and what is that perspective on the world and what is right or wrong. And so I appreciate Carol's input into this discussion, and I hope I represented her well. Once again, she's not saying do away with justice theory. She's simply saying if you want a more broad and multiplicity of perspective for a theory that's going to apply to all humans, then you need to include the discussion of care along with the discussion of justice. And I'm going to follow up with my own personal comments or thoughts about this, which are not Carol's, but it's how it stimulated my own thought and how I could see applying this theory in my own life. All right, thanks.